So the Ukraine crisis is playing out in two particular ways. Diplomatically, today was the day Russians and Americans explained their positions in detail. Put simply, America says Russia is being aggressive. Russia says it's being defensive. More on that shortly. But away from the war of words, on the ground, tense scenes are taking place in Crimea. This, for instance, is a video I want to show you from just near an airbase in Sevastopol. Pro-Russian troops are firing warning shots at a group of Ukrainian soldiers. Have a look.
Стой! Олег Олегович, стой!
Мы все военнослужащие, если что. Мы еще граждане.
В угоду какому-то одному политическому деятелю мы сейчас столкнуты лбами. Два братских народа. Это неправильно.
Вы специально провоцируете.
Мы не провоцируем. Мы без оружия. Какая провокация?
Well, whatever the rights and wrongs of that particular exchange, the difference between Ukraine and Russia's military might is absolutely huge. Let me show you how. Let's go live to our World Affairs editor, the BBC's John Simpson, who's live with us from Sevastopol. And John, I suppose we're always looking in these situations for the moment where rhetoric turns to conflict. Do you think we're still approaching that point?
No, I suspect that we're moving away from it. I certainly think that's what President Putin wants us to think. His press conference today in Kiev seemed to indicate that he was putting his foot on the brake rather than the accelerator, that he didn't really plan to do anything against Ukraine, which has always been the biggest threat, the biggest danger in this whole business. But I couldn't find any reference anywhere in his press conference to any indication he might be preparing to move out of Crimea, where I am at the moment, and which his forces are in full control of. And I was rather reminded of what happened back in 2008, when it looked as though he was going to fight a war with Georgia. It didn't really happen in any kind of full-scale way. Everybody was terribly relieved, and President Putin tiptoed away with two quite large chunks of border territory. And I suspect he's trying the same trick this time again, and may well succeed. He'll have problems because the Americans won't forgive him so easily this time, but nevertheless he's got the Europeans not quite so keen to take action against him, and probably the outcome will be another muddle. But I think we may have avoided any kind of shooting this time.
Well, let's hope that's the case. John, thank you very much for joining us live. That's the BBC's John Simpson live with us from Sevastopol.